for you. We had one DNP today. Antonio Gibson, Sharp, Moses, Sheriff, and Anderson were all limited. Terry was full. Game status for Sunday, Gibson will be declared out. Sharp, Moses, Sheriff, and Anderson will be questionable. Terry McLaurin will not be listed. With that, we can open it up.
Hey, Ron. Good afternoon. I noticed in the game against the Steelers, you guys had the most penalties that you have had so far this season, the 9, and I think it was like 67 yards or so.
Yep.
What do you tell the players to kind of get back to the way things had been? I think you guys were like 6th fewest penalties like this season so far. What do you tell the guys ahead of a road game like the one against the 49ers to get them kind of back to that mode of very few penalties in a game?
Well, it's about discipline. I told the guys we were going to get into a physical game with Pittsburgh. A couple of the penalties we got were unsportsmanlike conducts, and one of the things I told the guys, hey, look, these guys are tough guys. They're going to come at you. Let's don't take it. And a couple of guys took it to heart, and we got a couple penalties. So those were on me, to be honest with you. So again, now it's about being disciplined, playing smart, and understanding that's we took it past the line, and like I said, I got to make sure guys understand what I'm talking about.
And then on the flip side of it, you guys didn't have a turnover for the first time since week 1 against the Eagles. So I guess I don't know if there's some way that you get guys not to turn the ball over or just something that you could see that they can replicate against the 49ers and throughout the rest of the season. But what do you guys tell them about, keeping the ball safe essentially so that you can continue to stay in those kinds of games and, obviously not have I don't know, it's like the opposite of like the Cleveland Browns game where you have a lot of turnovers that ultimately like hurt you guys more or less.
Without a doubt. I mean, Reed, that's the thing that we talk about is protecting the football and trying to get the guys to understand how important it is to take it away. The takeaway differential that we had, when I was in Carolina, if we won the takeaway battle, we'd win 90% of the games. I mean, that was a fact. And so to understand just how important, how vital it is to take the ball away from an opponent or how vital it is to protect the football, I think has to be something we all have to understand and we have to work at. We work at it in practice. We work at it, trying to get it stripped, and we work at it trying to protect it. That's something that we have to continue to do.
Thank you, Ron.
You're welcome.
Hey, Ron. Payne Barber is averaging, I think, 2.7 yards per carry. I know that a little bit is probably because of like short yardage situations, but
Yep.
If he has a bigger role on Sunday, what's kind of your confidence in him, and what do you see from him that, he's had a smaller role, he can handle a bigger role now?
Oh yeah, most certainly. I mean, believe me, he's a pro. I have all the confidence in him getting an opportunity to have a bigger role. He played a bigger role last week for us and did an excellent job. The Dallas game, he had some very physical runs. And again, he had an opportunity to break one, and instead he did a very unselfish thing, and he slid at the end of the Dallas game. So again, I don't get caught up in that. I get caught up in what I see as a football player, and I see a guy who's a veteran guy who understands, who knows it, who gets it, is going to do exactly what he needs to do to help us win football games.
Yeah, is there something about his running style that appeals to you, or what kind of qualities does he have? Yeah.
It's physical. It's a physical style. He's got great vision. He's a stick his foot in the ground and get downhill type of guy. So I do appreciate that.
Thanks.
Hey, Ron, what is the difference for him when he goes from being that short yardage guy to now being first and second down and doing all that? How much can that change for him in terms of just his productivity? What things could develop from that?
Well, the biggest thing, John, is a guy like that who comes in short yardage goal line situations. What he's looking for is any opportunity to hit a crease. If that crease is closed, he's still going to hit it. Whereas, in a normal situation where it's 1st and 10, he may stutter step a little bit to buy a little bit of time for some spacing to create. He may press something a little bit longer, or he may come at it a little bit sooner. So there is a different style when you're coming in on 3rd and 1 as opposed to it being 1st and 10 out in the middle of the field.
And then on the other sideline, Sunday will be Trent Williams. Obviously, you had a chance to briefly get to know him, and obviously things didn't work out. I'm just curious, when you look back on that, how, on that situation, how you view it, and then how you view him as just as a player now.
Oh, he's a heck of a football player. He really is. He's one of the better left tackles in the league. And I know he's a little bit up there in age, but heck, from what I've seen on tape, he's still a smart, physical guy. And to be honest, I think he said it fair. At this point in his career, he was looking for situations, circumstances that fit him better And I think he also felt this might be an opportunity to get away from the situation he had dealt with the year before. So, and he's done nothing but good things for them. And we want to wish him well just because he's had such a good career here for this organization.
I get the sense from your comments earlier in the week that a big focus has been not letting the team get complacent or feel like they've achieved something with the Pittsburgh win. Do you feel like they've responded to that message?
Well, I do. I believe they have. But, and I didn't say not achieve something. I just said we can't carry this over and forget that we got to play a very good 49er team. I know they struggled early on, but that's the shoot. You look at the injuries they've suffered. This is a team that's had to go through a lot. And you see them playing better and better. So again, I just wanted to make sure we got our focus back after the win that we had on Monday night.
JP.
Hey, Ron, how close did you guys come to playing your best in Pittsburgh?
I would say after probably the goal line stance defensively was pretty doggone good, but then we turned around and give up a 50-yard pass for a touchdown. Offensively, we didn't get started till the end of the second quarter. So come out into the third quarter, I would say we played pretty doggone good. I have mixed reviews for that first half, but the second half I thought was pretty good football.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Pete.
It feels like whenever a team has to travel from one coast to another, that's a big storyline and is talked about a lot. How much does that impact a team? And from your playing days, how much has that changed, if it has at all?
Well, the nice thing is we don't have to go coast to coast, to be honest with you, this time. So it's a little bit longer than going to Dallas. And that's kind of the way I've been trying to phrase it to the guys is that. I do think that the coast to coast does play a little bit into people's head. The 3-time changes, that can add up a little bit. But it becomes a distraction if you make it a distraction. You're allowed to be a distraction, and that's one of the things that we've tried to control is hey guys, that's the situation, that's the circumstances. Let's live with it. Let's don't let it be important.
Sorry about my coast to coast botch. Geography is terrible.
Nikki.
Hi, Ron. I know you mentioned earlier in the week that you feel the linebacker play has improved. What does Cole Holcomb bring to that group, and what have you seen from him since he returned from the knee injury?
The nice thing is Cole brings an energy. He's a physical player. The thing that I like about Cole, he's a downhill guy. He'll run through. He'll shoot a gap, whether he's supposed to or not. And he understands that if he shoots it, he better make it. And he's done that. And again, you don't want to take away a guy's natural instincts and a guy's ability to make plays, and he's done a great job with it. And I think the other players have fed off of that. The other linebackers have kind of gotten a little bit of feel for how he's doing it. And you do see it. I like the way John Bostic has been playing for us. I think he's done some really good things. And, I think KPL has really stepped it up. And, seeing Thomas Davis get out there and take advantage of snaps he's getting. I mean, as a group, I think they're doing – they're playing a lot better physically going downhill. And I think a lot of it stems from just, Cole's presence out there.
And Cam Curl, are you surprised by what he's been able to do his first season, or is this something you guys kind of saw when you were scouting him ahead of the draft?
Well, I'm not going to sit there and take credit for a young man who's done some really good things. I think the coaches have worked hard with him. We saw very early he's a very smart guy. So, Jack and the staff put him in position to be what we call the Buffalo nickel, the big nickel, and he flourished at that position while he was still learning the strong safety spot. And then unfortunately when Landon Collins got hurt, we're able to move him back there, and he didn't miss a beat. Now we don't play the big nickel with him anymore, so we've taken that off his plate. So he's been able to focus really on just being the strong safety.
Hey, Ron, earlier in the season, you were pretty open about looking ahead, not just to the week that whatever the upcoming week was, but like several weeks in advance, noting that the schedule was there possibly to take advantage of, and that's part of why you made some changes. I'm curious with the last stretch here, what are you saying to your team about this? Are you kind of having to look ahead just this week, or are you kind of open to, hey, with these last 4 games, we can do some interesting things?
One game at a time. The only reason I looked ahead was I had to explain to you guys what I was trying to do. If I didn't have to explain anything, I would just kept the one game at a time mantra with our guys. And that's the truth. I mean, the big thing for me is always to stay the focus. That's the thing that has to happen. And so if you stay focused on that one game and put all your energies into that one game, I think you give yourself a pretty good opportunity. So, as we start getting ready for this last 4-game stretch, really the focus is one at a time, because, to achieve what we hope to achieve, we've got to be able to play well on Sunday against the 49ers. 49ers are defending NFC champs. Believe me, they have not succumbed to anything. They have not given anything up. They're in the same boat as us. They've got to play well, and they know they got to play well, and they've got to focus on this one game. And I promise you, Kyle Shanahan, he's been preaching that to his guys. He got a lot of pride up there in San Francisco. That team historically has done some, they're a championship caliber organization, and we've got to be ready for their best.
And to go back to the Trent Williams thing, but just in terms of the fact that he's one of the best tackles in the league, what intrigues you about this matchup for Chase Young and Montez Sweat going against one of the best tackles in the league?
They'll find out. They'll find out where they are and how whether they're where they need to be, or they've got to continue to improve. But this will be a great challenge. It really is, and I'm excited to see how it pans out for our guys.
Hey, Ron, this was the trip earlier in the year where it was the first one where you kind of took a separate plane and, did those things. I mean, does that now seem like 100 years ago? And then also, is there something about going into that stadium where you guys lost a game and you're going to play somebody different, but is there something about that psychologically or one way or the other?
Again, as I said, guys, it to me, things like this become a distraction. They become important when you make the interesting important. We're playing a completely different team. We're going in only this time because of scheduling and everything. We're only going in for a day. We're coming in on Saturday. We're playing the game Sunday. And we're getting out. And we're staying at a different hotel. So the approach is a little bit different, and we'll see what happens. But again, like I said, to me, is it interesting? Yes. Is it important? No. So let's don't make it, bigger than it is.
Nice.
Sam?
Hey, Ron, I was wondering if we could go back to 2014 one more time. I know that obviously there are some similarities and some differences, but I wonder if there's anything specific you can kind of pick out from that season, maybe in your evolution as a coach that hey, maybe I picked this up or that.
The biggest thing, really that I recall from it was always about one game at a time, keeping that focus just on putting all our energies into it. And really stressing just how important it was, that we take it one game at a time, because we controlled our own destiny. We couldn't worry about whether or not somebody was going to lose or not. And if last week didn't show our guys that, that we can't expect anybody to do our dirty work, we had to go out and do our own dirty work. That to me was the epitome of it. Was that I think a lot of people thought the Giants were going to lose to Seattle, and lo and behold, they played well enough to win, and they won. We were in a tough situation because we were going to play Pittsburgh, and we were fortunate enough to come out on the top end of that. So again, we control it, and that's the thing that I probably learned is that keeping our focus on us as opposed to what's going on around us.
We got time for 3 more. We'll go Olivia, Howard, and Adam.
Hey, Coach, with the statement coming out today that no fans will be in the stands the rest of 2020, how disappointing is that for you and the players? I mean, I'm sure you're not used to it yet. I know it's been a while since there have been. And how big of a factor has that proved to you this season that fans are a big factor on game day?
Oh, they are. Energy level, it's amazing. I mean, and I was thinking about this. Can you imagine, if we would have been able to come home to a fan base after, winning in Pittsburgh and playing at home, what that could have been like, the pandemonium with the fan base, energizing them and trying to, get them back and kind of showing them that, hey, we're playing hard. We want to give them something to cheer for. That to me would have been really cool. And so that's the hard part is that we don't have that right now, and we miss our fans. Because again, we're trying to create something, we're trying to build something. We want to give them something to cheer about. And right now, the best we can do is play hard, and hopefully they can appreciate it, and they get a chance to see it on TV.
Thanks, Ron.
You're welcome.
Howard. Howard's not there. We can end with Adam Winkler.
Hey, Ron. Earlier this week, you officially signed Taylor Heinicke, a guy with whom you and Scott are both familiar. Wondering what made him the right fit, and also, do you plan on employing a quarantine quarterback, or will you keep Steven and Taylor on the practice squad?
No, we're going to keep them both on the practice squad. We'll try to keep Taylor as separate from them as possible, which we've done. You know, Taylor's instructions are that his contact tracer is not allowed to blink red more than 2 times. He's got to stay away from those guys as much as possible. At the same time, get as much as possible down. What made Taylor the right fit is Taylor understands the system, been in the system. He was with Scott and North Turner in Minnesota. We brought him to Carolina where he was there with us. So he understands it, knows the system, and which makes him the ideal fit. That way, if something were to happen and we had to go with the doomsday plan and insert him as the quarantine quarterback, that we would be okay.